Hey everyone, it's Matthew with the Watty's channel, coming back with the second, well, I don't want to say second round, but second video of competition. I know I've told everyone that come back the next day, try and do another video for, well, my favorite LJN competition, but I gotta be honest, I'm just like crazy excited about this. I've been wanting to do this for several days now, and I wasn't planning on making, 3 or more videos in a night, but I feel like the way that I've been going at it, I really would like to keep going as much as I possibly can. At the very least, try and knock out at least one more round. I mean, one more round of competition, because I mean, like I said, this is a lot of fun. I do thoroughly enjoy these competitions when I watch them from different content makers, and they were just so much fun that, I wanted to do it myself. It just kind of look through and see what my favorite figure was. So I kind of had a general idea of, those that meant a lot to me, both personally as, a favorite wrestler, or, Hogan, for example, perfect play pose, someone like Stud, for example. But you know what? Sometimes the obvious answer isn't always the right one. So, I might think Andre the Giant could walk away as the champion, and he might get eliminated second round. You never know. And it just kind of just talking about, different figures and see who's going up against who. It definitely makes things a lot of really, really interesting. And so I got about 5 matches here. I lied. I got 6 matches here, and 2 of them are going to be duplicates. Custom versus original, and of course the winner of that will move on to the next round. And again, I did kind of shuffle the wrestlers around a little bit. A lot of people, what they do again is simply pull off the figures in order on how they have them displayed on the shelf. I'm not a big fan of that, for the simple fact that the best figures can potentially get removed very quickly from competition, while those who actually deserve to be eliminated, move forward. So I'm gonna make things interesting right off the bat. Now, we already had one Andre the Giant in competition, and now we've got Andre number 2, Series 2, short-haired Andre the Giant. This figure normally sells for, I don't know, $75 to $125 on eBay. And the wear and tear on that figure is very evident. This right here is a beauty by my favorite shop, Random Treasures. Absolute perfection, and you see why I call them, official toy makers, why I don't refer to them as customizers, because what they create is absolute art. Real figures, real stencils on the back, just an absolute beauty of a figure. Just like Andre number 1, perfect pose, awesome look in the face, probably even better. I'm sure many would agree with that concept. I just really love this figure. And when you buy a Random Treasures figure, you always get that smell. You can always tell which one is made by Random Treasures. It kind of bothered me when I first opened up my first package and smelled that, but now it's, I don't know, it's weird. I just kind of like grown to love the smell, I guess. So Andre number 2 is taking on Captain Lou Albano. Even though he's a manager, I do actually use this guy in competition, and I only do Royal Rumbles because, Royal Rumbles, whether I'm watching it on TV or, even playing Royal Rumble as a kid, was always, one of my favorite, one of my most favorite pastimes. And this Captain Lou Albano, he's a big, heavier figure, which makes him, to me, one of the more hot commodities, enforcers, I guess, of the ring when he does enter in. I do make him quite a, I don't know, I like this figure. It's a beautiful figure. Obviously not a number 1 figure. there's just no way possible he's going to defeat Andre in this round. If he had gone up against someone else, it's possible. But he will not be moving on. I really wish I had some more to talk about. Great figure, just not perfect. Decent pose. You know, he still has the ability to do a one-handed body slam. But again, you know how I feel about, you know, wrestling toys. They have to have that perfect body slam pose, and even have their legs far apart to be body slammed. You can poke you in the chest, you know, maybe do like a running, you know, head drop or something. I don't know what you would call that. Lou Albano, great figure. He easily gets demolished by Andre number 2. So the second competition is going to be Jay Leno. Or maybe Sean Penn. But it is going to be Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Of course, he's not the barber yet. Not in the early to, well, technically this would have been 85, 86. Series 2, 86. So we're going to start off with the original. So Brutus Beefcake, again, tag team belt from Random Treasures. Pretty much all of my, you know, tag team competitors are going to come with the belt. So Random Treasures, again, they do have possibly the best belt accessories that I've ever seen. And they're affordable, $15 per belt. I normally stack up 4 to 6 at a time. When they finally come in, you know, you think, you know, man, you don't want to spend $100 on some belts, but trust me, seeing what the originals go for on eBay and the quality of these belts, 1,000,000% Random Treasures every time. They're just unbelievable in both figures and belt accessories. And, of course, they've got hat accessories and Jim Duggan's 2x4, so, you know, they're pretty, they have their store pretty stacked, pretty well stacked for the most part. I don't know, I really like this design on Beefcake's pants. It's good color. Obviously, the gloves, which are actually looked almost mint to me. It's the kind of difference between this Beefcake and the Hasbro Brutus Barber Beefcake version. The gloves on the Hasbro will always be faded. I mean, maybe 1 in 10 you'll find that's actually mint, but I mean, this is just an absolutely beautiful figure. Now, again, play-wise, not exactly my favorite. Again, not top 10, not a top 20, probably not even a top 30 figure based on fighting stance. He can throw a punch and do a clothesline. You know, he's got a decent, I guess, one-handed body slam pose. Outside of that, he isn't going to do much. If he was going against another wrestler, there's a very good chance that this would be it for Brutus. But in this case, he is going a bit up against himself. This is a custom design Brutus the Barber Beefcake. It's not resin, it actually is the rubber figure repainted to look like a Series 3 Hasbro Brutus Beefcake figure. And even though the original design is absolutely gorgeous, I mean, that color on this is just absolutely beautiful. And just the creator of this figure did an amazing work. There's just no doubt about it. This figure has to move on. So we have our second custom, and both customs have defeated the original counterparts. So the next line of competition is going to be George the Animal Steel. Now, I don't know, I like this figure a whole lot. It's actually probably one of my top 15, maybe top 20 figures. This probably could potentially been a top 10, top 12 figure if it weren't for the arms. The arms absolutely kill it. Now, what this figure can do is, you know, put a wrestler, let me see, grab one here, you know, put a wrestler in a headlock, kind of like do a DDT. That's basically all he could do. You gotta pretend to do a body slam. You know, you can't really do anything else with this figure. So potential is there to be an amazing figure overall. Design of the pants, boots, beautiful. Chest hair, awesome. I never knew quite what was up with that whole blue tongue thing. Maybe eating the turnbuckle or whatnot. It was just really odd to me. He is going against, which could arguably be the greatest LJN figure of all time. When I first got the LJN Greg the Hammer Valentine, I wasn't super impressed. It wasn't a bad figure in my opinion. I just didn't think it was, you know, the greatest pose or anything like that. Watching some of, you know, other videos, other content makers, they talked about how as kids they played the heck out of this figure, and you know they would normally use him in a lot of competitions, a lot of one-on-ones, a lot of tag teams, and of course, again, XOX Customs by Random Treasures, another belt for the figure. So Dream Team actually did pretty well, I think, in this competition. I think they'll go pretty far. I think the White Brutus Beefcake, along with Greg Valentine, will probably make it through at least a couple rounds. Starting to actually play with this in my Royal Rumbles, he actually moved up pretty significantly as far as levels of playability and design. This one actually isn't the best color compared to some of the others I have. I do have quite a few duplicates of different wrestlers, but the design on this figure is absolutely incredible, and he's got beautiful skin tone on here. His pose, again, ain't terrible. If you come across the Gallagher line, Barry Windham shares the same fighting pose, and as you can see, he does have a perfect body slam pose. What I like to do is kind of like bring the wrestler to the top turnbuckle and kind of like fall off and kind of, you know, I know his finishing move was probably the figure 4 leg lock, but what I call is dropping the hammer, or he would, you know, run against the ropes, just kind of drop the hammer, punch him in the chest or face, hook the leg, and he would be victorious. Yeah, so I gotta say this has to be a top 5 figure in my opinion. It's just really hard to foresee many guys beating this figure. This is just an absolute beauty. So in this competition, Hammer is going to roll right over the animal. Next competition, one I'm really excited about. So for whatever reason, Macho Man Randy Savage, many people seem to be obsessed with this figure. Don't get me wrong, you know, kid of the 80s. To me, Hulk Hogan, The Ultimate Warrior, Randy Savage will always be my top 3 wrestlers.